Hello everybody. I wanted to do an update on this urban edible landscaping. This whole big area isn't necessarily what I would envision somebody would put in their yard, but these strips that I have on this far edge here can be sized and all that to fit any backyard, even the area where I've surrounded this maple tree. That could theoretically work everywhere. Even these little strips where I have some pine trees and some comfrey and strawberries and things like that. But just to give you an idea, I think it's July 19th. I'm going to give you an idea of what's changed over the last couple of weeks. As you can see, the comfrey wall that I've put in has been sprouting up. And even though some of it might look like there's a blank spot, here you can see that leaf was actually, I guess, bitten by probably a bunny or something, but that's a good sign. That'll be, I expect in the next week to be about that big, and that'll put a barrier between the grasses because these all spread through the ground. That'll stop the spread of the grasses into here, and we're just going to give this whole area a couple of years more to break down, and then we'll start planting into it. But there are some areas outside of where the house used to be, because the basement was filled in with gravel and whatever else, parts of the house, and then a foot of topsoil was put on, and then I put nothing but wood chips, probably about a foot and a half of wood chips are in there. But outside of that line, I've been able to plant. So there's a pear tree there, and I've got a currant bush here. I think it's a red currant. And of course, randomly I've spread seeds all over the place. And that could be some sort of vegetable or some sort of flower. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's nice to see. Whatever wants to grow, I just let it grow. All I'm doing is I'm adding to it. Same with this little strip right here. There's arugula in there. There's red sorrel, things like that, all edible greens. There's another peach tree, and this huge yellow whatever thing is typically identified as a weed. You can see from the leaves, if that was growing up in your yard, you'd probably want to pull it, but I don't, because all these flowers come out, and you can see there's just a couple that have bloomed on this one. However, there's a lot more to go. So I always like when stuff like that pops up and gives some color and something for pollinators to feed on. Because things like this kind of look messy, but they all have different blooming times, and they all have uses in nature. And it's kind of blocking my path now, but we can make it through. Some of the other things I've tried to get in are some Hascaps. These are Hascap bushes. I forget the variety, but these bloom and fruit early in the spring. So right around here, probably April into May, and I expect to get fruit from those next year. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's sprinkling today, and it's been raining the last 2 nights. So we had a period there where we had almost no rain, really, depending on parts of the city, for about, it's been a 12-week span where it's been very little water and a lot of heat. So some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff has grown really well, but a lot of that has to do with being covered by this wood chips. So you can see that I have berries planted here. It's like a white pine berry, I do believe. And then I have different flowers. This is from a flower seed packet. That's from a flower seed packet. This is arugula right here. So you can just grab the leaves and eat it. It's kind of spicy in a different kind of way. Some of these are native flowers that I've planted, along with this other peach that's doing really well. And moving down, there's gooseberries, another random weed. And I don't want to go through every little bit of flower here, but you can see here another native plant that I've put in. That is, whoop, if I don't fall over, that's growing. And then this short aster, it's another native plant, and that's doing really well. Along with all this, you can see everything that has a tag is basically either a native plant or a berry bush that I've planted. So this right here would be a Viking aronia berry. And then all the way down, some of this stuff is violets, and those are great in the spring. If you've ever seen violets, they're obviously very pretty. And they, they're food for pollinators. First thing, it's like one of the first things to bloom, along with things like creeping Charlie, which is alongside here, which is all of this. And it's nice about this creeping Charlie, a lot of gardeners will pull this stuff up, but it's nice because it's basically designed to hold together loose soils, and that's what this is. It just hasn't broken down yet. So all this will actually cover the soil on top of this, which is what we want to do, is cover the soil so it doesn't dry out, and we can actually grow plants on it. Because I don't water any of this. I don't. There's no fertilizer in bags that I buy, anything like that. So it's all self-sufficient, supporting. Here's some sort of squash, I'm guessing. I don't know if that's a watermelon, actually. But those are just, I've randomly planted annual seeds throughout here, just to see, maybe I can get some other foods in here. And just keep in mind as you're watching this, this is not planted very thickly or densely. And a lot of these plants will grow up to be bigger, quite bigger. But there's a lot of blank spaces in here, and you can fit a lot of plants. Because I think these are actually the pine berries. 1, 2, 3. That I think that is, let me look. I'm trying to give you an idea of what's actually planted here. I'm not sure, it doesn't have a tag, but that's Arugula. That's a peach tree, and then down the way I have three Hascaps right here. But let's say that's 12 feet to this line where those berries are, by 5 feet wide, 60 square feet, and you could pack that a lot more densely with. You could have tomato plants throughout here. You could have beans. Just stick a stake and have beans crawl up it. So for that small of an area, you could definitely pack a lot more stuff into it. And hopefully this will give you an idea of something you did at your own house, to, one, protect the soil, and to provide some food for yourself instead of going to the grocery store, which may or may not have food, or the food that you want. And of course, everywhere I get a chance, I plant sunchokes, and that's what this is. That's what that is. That's what this is. And underneath, it's a root vegetable like a potato. So there'll be, from this one plant, the little knob that I had planted, usually 12 to 15 times the amount in 1 year. So really, this whole area is handfuls of food. Same with here. That can all just be dug up and eaten at the end of the season or throughout the winter. So I'm going to leave you here after this update. Probably in a couple of days. If it's done raining, we get a couple of days of sun again. I'll give you make another video to show you just how much things have kind of sprung up after these rains. And as always, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.